Let's talk about cancer, because we've got the final in your Fighting Cancer series with a final look behind the scenes at the Kent Oncology Centre in Maidstone.
That's right, and we're sort of looking at the future of cancer services tonight. So increasingly consultants I've been talking to start to talk about some cancers as being chronic diseases. So something you live with, you can control, perhaps like asthma. It can be dangerous, but increasingly you'll live with cancers for very long times. And increasingly they're telling me they're very optimistic about some of the treatments that are coming down the line.
It would be brilliant if I was out of a job. I'd be delighted.
Cancer is no longer becoming like a death knell.
We're developing innovative techniques all of the time.
Only one of the most advanced body scanners in the world can provide the level of detail to pick out the individual organs and the vessels supplying them.
40 years ago, the CT scanner was innovative. It was pushing cancer care into the 21st century. Today's modern CT scanners continue to push the clinical boundaries of cancer care.
If I was doing radiotherapy several decades ago, I'd basically lie you down and I'll draw on you where I want to treat. With a CT scan, you're then saying, actually, I want to know a bit more detailed of where the target is, how it moves in relation to the other organs like bladder, bowel, lung, and so on and so forth. And you can actually then really target where you want to treat, therefore improving and reducing side effects.
Chemotherapy and radiotherapy and relatively new immunotherapy are also evolving, creating exciting new opportunities for doctors and better outcomes for us, the patients.
I think the future of cancer treatment is going to be in manipulating the immune system. If we can get the genetic nips and tucks and tweaks to the genome of some of the cells in the immune system right, we will be able to use those cells to patrol the body and remove cancer cells that way, rather than having to do it with a tool like a knife, essentially. It would be brilliant if I was out of a job. I'd be delighted.
It's definitely becoming a disease that patients live longer with, and in fact we are moving to a time now where cancer is seen as more of a chronic disease, much like asthma or diabetes is a chronic disease which people can die from. Cancer is also becoming a chronic disease like that.
Despite rising numbers of cancer diagnoses every year and the huge range of challenges facing the NHS, cancer services and cancer care continue to advance, improving both the outcomes and the expectancy of patients.
Well, thank you, Mark. But one of the big challenges, of course, is that there are more and more people coming forward who are diagnosed with cancer. What more do we know about why that's happening?
Yes, looking for treatments and wondering whether they have cancer or not, and many of the specialists we've been talking to welcome that. We can have a look at some of those numbers because they really are quite high. So last year, around 320,000 people were treated for cancers. That's a record high. It's up around 8,000 on pre-pandemic levels. And the pandemic has played a part because for a while people didn't want to come into hospital. They were worried about coming in, so they delayed seeing their doctors. We're seeing those people come through now. 2.8 million people had a simple check to see whether or not they had cancer. Again, that's a record high, up 20% on pre-pandemic levels. Again, the pandemic playing a part, I suppose. And that equates to around 10,000 day checks, around 6% of those people actually having a diagnosis. But alongside the pandemic, the NHS has also doubled its budget for awareness campaigns about saying, come forward if you think you've got cancer, you know, bowel cancer, prostate cancer, all the various issues. Do come forward. They want to see people come forward. Because one of the big messages I've got from this week is if you come forward early, get an early diagnosis, get into your treatment plan, you will have a much better outcome. And that's really key to what they want to do. And we're lucky to have one of the most successful oncology units here on our doorstep.
So don't delay is the message.
Indeed.
Thank you very much indeed, as ever, Mark.